Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, yet again come.
We are a community. What affects one of us concerns us all. Today, some of us have come burdened with sorrows, needing the support and comfort of others. And some of us have come brimming with joy and gratitude, ready to share the energy of our joy. This morning, you are invited to speak aloud your joys and sorrows. Please share only your own concerns, and if you're under 18, please don't share your name. On behalf of the Social Justice Council of this congregation, we're sending our loving thoughts and prayers to the people of Maui who have suffered the horrifying effects of our current climate crisis. If others have sorrows to share, please raise your hand.
Good morning. My name is Naomi Polanetska. This is the last day that we are collecting money and book bags and supplies for the Waverly event, which will be next week. I will be out in the common room there. If you want to talk to me about Waverly, please do. Thank you.
My name is Catherine Brandt, and I want to share the loss of my husband in May and the loss of my faithful dog just this past Wednesday. My joy is I've been surrounded by family, and I have with me today my granddaughter, Rachel.
Please hold her in your hearts. Are there any other sorrows that anyone needs to share? We're delighted to welcome Reverend Dr. Stephen Kendrick, our new minister. Have any others? Are there any other joys that anyone would like to share? In the coming week, please reach out to one another. Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't see it. Well, we got one way back.
Ooh, over here. Way back. Jamie Johnson shares that she'd like us to hold her dad and her family in our hearts because her dad has just entered a memory care facility.
This morning, my brother-in-law was admitted to the hospital. He has blood in his stools, and last week he was there because he had cancer on his lung. So please hold him in your thoughts.
Does anyone else have something that's heavy on their hearts or that's bringing them joy? So in the coming week, please reach out to one another, sharing your joys, and please support those who are struggling with their sorrows.
We are going to sing together number 95 in the blue hymnal, There Is More Love Somewhere. Yeah, please feel free to stand. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. And I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
Good morning. My name is Pablo DeVos-Deek. We are your in-person General Assembly delegates. Becky, Kathy, Lurleen, myself, PJ, Jamie Johnson, an on-site delegate, and Kathy Jackson, who served as an off-site delegate, are joining us by Zoom this morning. General Assembly is the annual gathering of UUs from congregations all over the world. GA is exciting.
I've never seen so many UUs together before.
GA is exhausting.
There are so many workshops, worships, business meetings, and social gatherings.
GA is worshiping together.
The sermons and the music are amazing and spiritually nourishing.
GA is sharing social justice work.
Hearing of challenges is energizing. Hearing of triumphs is so inspiring.
GA is a chance to learn.
Workshops are informative and stimulating.
GA is a chance to teach.
I really enjoyed facilitating the live part of the hybrid UU the Vote workshop.
GA is saying goodbye to our president.
We're grateful for the leadership of Susan Frederick Gray during very challenging times.
GA is saying hello to our new president.
And we are very excited to welcome Reverend Sophia Bentecourt, whose words have inspired us all.
GA is a chance to connect with old friends.
I haven't seen you since 2019. So good to be together again. How are you?
GA is a chance to connect with Zoom friends.
So wonderful to see you in person after all the work we did for democracy in the last 3 years.
GA is a chance to make new friends.
Yep. So good to talk with you during the small group sharing part of the workshop. Let's have coffee.
But more than all of these things, being a General Assembly delegate is about you, our home congregation. We, the GA delegates, donated our time, treasure, and talent to be your eyes, ears, and voice in our larger UU community. For many of us, serving as a delegate is a sacred act. We live out our covenant by this with you. We discern what we believe will be best in our congregation and this faith. It is such a sacred act that some congregations bless their delegates by laying hands on them as before they are sent forward to do the work. Thank you for the honor of being your 2023 General Assembly delegates. We hope the highlights we share with you will enrich our congregation's thinking this coming year.
Hi, I'm Becky Sandman. My pronouns are she and her. General Assembly 2023 is over, and the new Article 2 passed at 86% with 5 amendments accepted. Right now, the Article 2 Study Commission is working on integrating the amendments into a final version. They have until December 24th, 2023 to do this, although we expect them to do it sooner. An amendment to reintegrate the 7 principles into Article 2 was proposed as an amendment at GA 2023, and it did not pass. For 2024, the bar will be much higher. Amendments may only be offered if sponsored by at least 15 certified congregations or by the UUA Board of Trustees. This process is still to be determined. And then will require 3/4 approval to incorporate the amendment. At GA 2024, the new Article 2 will require at least 2/3 majority vote to pass. If the new Article 2 does not pass in 2024, the current change process will be ended, and a new change process would need to be initiated. All that would take some time and probably won't start up for a couple of years.
That's down. People get ready, there's a train that's coming. You don't need no baggage, just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket. As a creedless faith, where there's always room to grow and change in our understanding of the world, the Association of Unitarian Universalist Congregations is, as Becky just outlined, once again at a cyclical, planned crossroads, where we have an opportunity to redefine who we strive to be in the world and where we believe we are headed from here. Many of you, or most of you, are familiar with the 7 principles and the 6 sources. If you're not, I think they're on the back of your order of service. Yes, they are. The 7 principles and 6 sources that are, if not a creed, certainly a basis for a common understanding among UUs. Those principles and sources are also known as Article 2 of the Unitarian Universalist Association bylaws. And as part of the process going on right now, they are up for reconsideration because our religion is not carved in stone, nor is it handed down from on high, fully formed. It's up to all of us to create and sometimes recreate or redefine the values we live by, and to evaluate who are we striving to be and where are we headed in the world. Spirituality for UUs is a democratic process, and that process is deliberate. Over the past 2 years, the voices of thousands of UUs were listened to by the commission appointed by a vote of General Assembly delegates in 2019, the commission responsible for revising and revisiting Article 2. Then earlier this year, there were meetings of delegates from congregations across the country in which the members of the Article 2 Commission listened to their comments on the revised language of our faith, and adjustments were made in consideration of delegates' comments. And then, leading up to General Assembly, we, your delegates, asked everyone at USNH to review the latest proposed language, and we listened to your concerns, a powerful one of which was that the 7 principles and 6 sources that brought many of us to Unitarian Universalism, and that many feel allow us to explain UUism to others, were no longer clearly stated. And we partnered with delegates from other congregations in making additional comments and formally proposing amendments to be considered by all of the 3,000 or so delegates at General Assembly, in the hopes of crafting a document that could bring all of us into the future of Unitarian Universalism together. As Becky mentioned, some of those amendments were accepted by the vote of the delegates at GA. Specifically, the following 5 changes were accepted. 1 and 2 were the words spiritual development and reference to the creation of new UU communities will be restored to Article 2. Number 3, language relating to the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part will be restored to Article 2. Number 4, language related to the transcendent mystery and wonder, and also to science as sources of UU inspiration, will be restored to Article 2. And 5, language related to supporting democratic processes, both within our congregations and in society at large, will be restored to Article 2. Others of the proposed amendments were voted down. Most significantly, a proposed amendment to retain the word peace in our values was voted down. A proposed amendment to keep the 7 principles as they are currently worded was voted down. And a proposed amendment to retain the 6 sources as they are currently worded was voted down. Because this is a deliberative process, much like a state voting to amend its constitution, the final vote by congregational delegates will not happen until next June. In the meantime, I encourage you all, please read the proposed revisions to Article 2. Please think about how its statements reflect your values, and please join in the discussion here at USNH. Democracy for UUs is a spiritual process. And leading up to General Assembly 2024 next June, we all need to live into the spiritual democracy of our faith. Next year, whoever the congregation's delegates to General Assembly are, they will need to understand who we think we are striving to be as a congregation and where we think we are headed in the world, so that whatever train is coming within Unitarian Universalism, we all get on board a train we can believe in. To quote the incoming president of the UUA, Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, what you want from me is an invitation into the Unitarian Universalism you have been dreaming of. Love is the center of my faith. Let's risk this messy, loving, world-changing, saving faith together.
Thank you both. This next song is in your order of service, and we're hoping you can all sing it with us. All the words are there, but not exactly all the words are there. And what I mean is that there's a repeating pattern that I'm going to encourage you to just listen to me do the first verse, and then we'll all go back in and do the first verse together. The way to think about this is that there are couplets, and that first line, there are more waters rising, this I know, that happens a few times. That second line, there are more waters rising, they will find their way to me, only happens once. And then we go into the second couplet and work our way through the song. So you'll see, I think. But please join me in There Are More Waters Rising, written recently by Sarah Lynch Thomason. So again, I'll do it here. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more waters rising, they will find their way to me. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. Okay, we'll do it together. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more waters rising, they will find their way to me. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more fires burning, they will find their way to me. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. There are more mountains falling, they will find their way to me. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. I will wade through the waters, they will find their way to me. I will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. We will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. We will wade through the waters, this I know. We will wade through the waters, I will find their way to me. We will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. We will wade through the waters, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know. I will walk through the fire when they find their way to me. I will walk through the fire, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains when they find their way to me. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know.
Each year, at General Assembly, delegates can propose actions of immediate witness, or AIWs. Each AIW contains a statement about a current issue and a resolution asking UU congregations to live out our values and to take immediate action on these issues. One of the 3 AIWs accepted at General Assembly this year was entitled Protect the Dreamers, the recipients of Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival, DACA, with a pathway to permanent residency. This AIW asked our congregation to make it a priority to support the Dreamers, both as a congregation and as individuals, and believe that they are valued members of our community. To call on Congress and support and pass legislation to provide Dreamers with the protection and pathway to permanent residencies. And to be vocal and forward learning in our work to deepen our theological grounding in the issues of immigration justice. To collaborate with local partners to combat anti-immigration narratives, to work with grassroots organizations and campaigns centering on those most directly affected by anti-immigration policies. This vote was in 98% favor. 98% of the voting GA delegates said yes. As congregations and as individual UUs, this is urgent, and we must support the Dreamers now. I hope that in the coming year, USNH can find ways to bear witness and take action on these issues. Based on the vote on this AIW at General Assembly this year, living our collective values in the world demands it.
I'm here to talk about the AIW Stop Cop City. If any of you are unaware of what Cop City is, it's 30 million taxpayer dollars and 60 million in funding from undisclosed corporate interests. It is the proposed raising of almost 400 acres of forested land that local communities use for recreation to build an urban warfare training center that police departments from across the country will have access to. The plans include military-grade training facilities, a mock city to practice urban warfare, explosive testing areas, areas to practice deploying tear gas, dozens of shooting ranges, and a landing pad for a Black Hawk helicopter. This is huge overreach on the part of already overly aggressive law enforcement agencies. Understandably, the people of Atlanta do not want this on their doorstep. Protests have been ongoing for several years, with many of the arrested being held on unprecedented domestic terrorism charges. A mutual aid group that provides bail money and legal services to folks arrested or prosecuted for their involvement in social movements was raided by a heavily armed SWAT team, and 3 members were detained on charges of money laundering and securities fraud. Law enforcement and prosecutors in Atlanta are using escalating violence and unconstitutional means to stamp out opposition voices before their training center is even built. Imagine what they will do after. Organizers in Atlanta have been working to get the Cop City question on the ballot in November. They recently won in court an extension of their efforts to collect signatures after a judge ruled that a provision that required those collecting signatures be residents of Atlanta was unconstitutional. The thing about AIWs is that they are a literal call to action. If any of you were at the service a few weeks ago, you saw that UUs from this congregation have already taken action in Atlanta. The UU organization Side with Love also answered that call by holding meetings to recruit and train volunteers to join the canvass on the ground in Atlanta to collect the signatures necessary to bring Cop City to a vote. This last bit is from an email I received Saturday about this action. UUs are showing up in beautiful and creative ways. We are knocking on doors and talking to people in supermarkets and parks. Volunteers enjoy fresh fruit provided by High Street Congregation in Macon, while climate activists connect with our Northwest UU congregation to print zines for a mobilization this weekend. Our Side with Love staff, Kathy Ryan Starr and Rachel Mislivy, are building systems to help Atlanta voters fix errors in their petition signatures, and joined a team of 20 UUs as we canvassed at the Day of Action on August 5th. This work is ongoing, and UUs will be part of it, living their values every day.
Hi. The third AIW is organizing for health equity. Attacks on abortion rights, against gender-affirming healthcare programs, and against the very young and very old, combined with the impact of systematic racism, pandemics, poverty, and other problems, have raised awareness about the need for health equity and mutual aid. This AIW calls for new partnerships to secure personal and social wellness with justice for all people in all nations. We want individuals to have more control over their bodies. We agree with the World Health Organization that health equity is achieved when everyone can attain their full potential for health and well-being. We know that racism, ableism, homophobia, misogyny, and other forms of systematic oppression may prevent people from enjoying wellness. This AIW encourages us to nurture partnerships at 3 levels. International. Global programs in public health will require global solutions. We support global partnerships for health improvement with strong Unitarian Universalist presence at the UN. We ask congregations to study the Sustainable Development Goals and the UN programs that promote health and equity and justice. We ask Unitarian Universalists to celebrate Human Rights Day on Sunday, December 10th, 2023. National. We call for equitable programs for paid family and medical care leave. We support a strong Social Security program and programs that empower people of all ages with different abilities. In the U.S., we affirm our support for a single-payer system that will provide medical insurance and long-term care insurance for all residents. There has been a resurgence in labor union organizing during the recent months. We support workers as they organize democratic labor unions to secure adequate compensation, worker representation, pensions, and occupational health and safety. Excuse me. Local. New programs for emergency preparedness, for mental health services, for health and safety education, and to provide access to family planning services are needed immediately. We ask for mutual aid and solidarity instead of charity. The 2023 Farm Bill is being prepared. Different communities are asked to help each other by creating a farm bill that works for the distribution of health food in a healthy environment. As people of faith, we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of all individuals, and we join with others to reduce suffering and to overcome injustice. Healthcare programs should be proactive, and they should help to empower individuals in healthy relationships. We will work with others to create healthy workplaces and communities. We will be held accountable by future generations. And here at USNH, we have already done a reproductive justice service, which included the support group REACH, Reproductive Equity, Access, and Choice, whose mission is to reduce financial barriers to abortion care in Connecticut. We also have given them a donation. We have been postcarding, as many of you know, to states like Virginia to support the current pro-choice practices so they can keep status quo. We've reached out to Planned Parenthood to offer volunteer support. And we plan on gathering information regarding women's healthcare providers to generate a list of what services they provide to all women, whether cisgender or transgender. Copies of these AIWs are in the lobby and the social hall. Please take time to read them.
Obviously, a lot happens in the few days of General Assembly, and we're not done yet. In addition to the 3 actions of immediate witness and the other things you've heard about so far, The 3 actions of immediate witness that were all strongly supported and voted up by the delegates at the General Assembly. Groups within the UUA can propose business resolutions requiring the UUA to take certain business actions. This year, a resolution was proposed by the Young Adult Caucus at GA calling for, quote, complete divestment from the fossil fuel industry and subsequent reparations. The young adults who drafted this resolution and spoke in favor of it had protested at Standing Rock and other environmental sites across the country and were passionate about the need for the UUA to take even greater steps to divest from the fossil fuel industry than it already has. To divest not only from the fossil fuel industry itself, but also from all banks, financiers, and businesses associated in any way with the fossil fuel industry, from any securities, from any investments made for the purpose of shareholder advocacy, from any pooled funds, from any non-transparent commingled funds, anything that did not comply with the requirements of divestment from fossil fuel. And the young adults who proposed and advocated for this business resolution were looking for the UUA to pay reparations by returning the total value of securities invested in fossil fuels at the time of the 2023 General Assembly to Indigenous and Black and Brown communities and refugees of prior and ongoing wars fueled by the fossil fuel industry, all parties of which had endured the ongoing violence of racist, capitalist systems which sought to actively destroy them. Those are the words of that resolution. For the young adults proposing this divestment resolution, the spiritual work of living our UU values necessitated this highest level of financial transformation in order for us as a religion to truly live the values we proclaim. While both the outgoing and the incoming presidents of the UUA made public statements at General Assembly applauding the commitment and the passion of the Young Adult Caucus, both also made statements saying that they could not support this resolution as it was worded, and they were not alone. In the end, it was voted down, 68% no, 32% yes. The spiritual work of bringing everyone together and moving our UU values into action and to create the world we dream of is not always easy. Yeah.
Oh, I am waking up to find my world between the dying and being reborn. I see what is and I see what could be. Can't close my eyes again and go back to sleep. Days with blessed unrest and my nights with dreams of justice make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. How can I change our course? Just a lonely voice. Wish I could lose myself in all the noise. But if we all would rise, a generation proud with a might mighty song, we could turn this world around. So fill my days with blessed unrest and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Ancestors all behind, and before me every child. I bring the power of a long unbroken line. So when our time is through, I wanna know oh, I am waking up to find my world between the dying and being reborn. I see what is and I see what could be. Can't close my eyes again and go back to sleep. Fill my days with blessed unrest and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. How can I change our course? Just a lonely voice. Wish I could lose myself in all the noise. But if we all would rise, a generation proud with a mighty song, we could turn this world around. So fill my days with blessed unrest and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Ancestors all behind, and before me every child. I bring the power of a long unbroken line. So when our time is through, I wanna know, did what we came to do for the future ones. So in our darkest days, may we all be strong and give our lives so life may go on. Fill my days with blessed unrest and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel. Fill my days with blessed unrest and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide.
Gathering in person with Connecticut UUs was the highlight of GA for many of us, particularly the UU The Vote folks. We've been strategizing on developing a state network for almost a year. We first learned of state action networks during our work on the 2020 election. Almost half of the states have a UU network that allows them to speak in a powerful, unified voice on state issues and to work together on national issues. About 20 lay leaders and 3 ministers met early in the morning of the first day of General Assembly this year. Danbury, Hartford, Manchester, Stamford, West Hartford, Westport, and USNH were all represented at our meeting. The 4 of us who participated in Wednesday night's banner parade had all marched in together as a coalition of Connecticut congregations. Folks at the meeting were excited to see one another and very enthusiastic about what we might be able to do together. We envisioned sharing social justice work, advocating on statewide legislative initiatives as a strong religious voice on issues that included reproductive justice and LGBTIQ+ rights, things that our interfaith alliances don't address. We imagined showing up to support one another's work on local issues, attending meetings together, or door-knocking with one another's congregations. We discussed an initiative that some other blue states have undertaken, partnering with a state like Texas to support the work of the UUs there, through things like phone banking, postcarding, and if you're able to traveling to do canvassing. The ministers shared they might exchange pulpits or provide pastoral coverage for one another as needed. Finally, we dreamed of having fun together, doing fundraisers, celebrating social justice victories, and attending social events at one another's congregations. And actually, we have an opportunity to do that. We've just been invited to attend a concert by Emma's Revolution at the West Hartford congregation this September. Stay tuned for details. As delighted as we were by our meeting, we were even more elated when Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, newly elected president of the UUA, shared her vision of how we will show up in the world as we emerge from this pandemic. She stated, "The purpose of a religious community gathering together is to witness to a different possibility in the world. We as UUs have a specific voice on specific issues. We need to reflect on how we can best bring a moral conscience into the public square." She encouraged us to be obnoxious in public about our values and to hold our pride in who we are and to know who we have been so that we can respond to the moral issues of today. She acknowledged the impact of COVID on our communities, and when asked how we will do this work, she said, "Through being relational." She continued, "We can get so proud of our congregations and also so busy that we forget to love all UUs. Do you know other UU congregations in your community? Do you know where they are? Do you ever show up there?" She continued, "As we emerge from COVID, There could not be a better time than now to have some of our reemergence to be close to beloveds in other UU spaces. She exhorted us to share resources with other congregations around you. Congregations can figure out what they really are good at and offer it to other congregations. If a congregation is doing something near you, invite your people to go. Let shame go. Partner with one another. Don't compete. She asked, can we connect across congregational lines? Can we? Let's all go to West Hartford for the Emma's Revolution concert and see what's next.
Every week, we lift up the spiritual value of generosity by taking an offering for the ministries of this congregation. For those watching online, while the music plays, I urge you to consider navigating to the usnh.org website and making a donation. Donations can also be sent by U.S. mail to USNH at 700 Hartford Turnpike, Hamden, Connecticut, 06517. Those here in person can make donations on their way out of the sanctuary at the end of the service, or you may use the QR code printed in the order of service to make a donation. The offering will now be gratefully received.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves to the well. It is time now. What a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now. What a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Thank you, David. We have a few announcements for today. First, your congregation needs you. Pick up a list of volunteer needs, small to large, and find ways to support USNH without needing to join a committee. Many hands make light work and help USNH get things done. Look for the handout after service or for information in the newsletter. Darcy Jeffrey will be offering an open space for movement called Spirit Dance today in the sanctuary from 12 to 12:30. This is not a class, though Darcy may gently lead some of the movement. All ages and levels of mobility welcome. Excuse me. Your GA delegates will be available after service at the social justice table on the right-hand side of the social hall. Please come by with any questions you might have and pick up some postcards to send to Virginia voters. Next Sunday, the Sunday morning team will be providing walking tacos and cake in the social hall to celebrate Reverend Stephen's first day in the pulpit. I hope you can all be there.
All right, well, I invite you to sing together and stand if you would like or might. In the Teal hymnal, number 1020, 1020, Wo Ya Ya.
Now is the time when we extinguish our chalice. I would ask you all to read along with the words printed in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Sorry, we didn't just have a video problem, we had a me problem. Our benediction is by the Reverend Dr. Hope Johnson. Keep your dreams alive. Listen, light the way, lend a hand, make decisions, commit, take risks, fail forward, build community, nurture meaningful relationships, be real, give thanks, invest in something or someone that you believe in, live, love, dream big, Be transformed. Change the world. Lead and keep your dream alive.